Hello everybody. My name is Devin, or Smeargle, as as the government gave me, and I'm bringing you week 1 of UGL Gold Division, going up against Kilowatt Boom, coach of the Munchlaxster United. He's got a pretty annoying team to deal with, I won't lie. But, the game was done on Showdown, and it will be post-commentary. But from here on, it should all be on Wi-Fi once once I download LAN play. No, I'm just kidding. I definitely have it downloaded. It's just I didn't have time before we played our game to get into the LAN play server. I figured I would have to go midway through because I had to go grocery shopping that day, and yeah. My dad wanted to take me, so yeah. Not much you can do when the man of the house is involved, I guess. So, as I was saying, yeah, week 1 will be on Showdown, but that doesn't mean I can't do the team builder on Wi-Fi. What do I look like? A guy who's not gonna inject Wi-Fi into his video? I look like a fat idiot, but whatever. My opponent's team consists of Zero Aura, Kirim, Cinderace, Silvally, that is all types, not just Silvally normal, don't worry. Aromatisse, Celebi, Palisand, that is a Escavalier, a Mantine, and a Orlipede. As you can tell by my team, which consists of Celesteela, Latios, Raikou, Weezing Galarian Form, Miltank, Articuno, Mienshao, sorry, Rhydon, Clawitzer, and Sableye, that Zero Aura fucking rails me. Cinderace is not easy for me to deal with, and yeah, a couple of my defensive mons are going to be pretty pressured this week, namely Miltank, namely Weezing, so I'm definitely bringing both of them. On the flip side, offensive Celesteela looks really good here, all depends on what set I bring, and Latios looks like a truck, looks like an absolute wagon in this game, to be honest, if I bring the right set, so yeah, I look forward to that one. Alright, hopping right in. Oh, that's still Delmise. Get me off this Delmise! Alright, first mon we're bringing is the Miltank, fully physically defensive with a Choppleberry, yeah. This is to help deal with Zero Aura and Cinderace, as well as potentially Kirim. If I can poison that'd be nice. Body Press always breaks Kirim subs. It does a chunk of damage to both Cinderace and Zero Aura, mostly the Zero Aura. Body Slam is nice because I can potentially spread Paras. Milk Drink to heal up. Really wanted to run Rocks, couldn't really afford to run Rocks. Probably should have brought Facade on this as well, noting that he also has a Mantine that I'm pretty sure is going to show up because it checks Latios extraordinarily well, and it's his probably best switch into Mienshao aside from Aromatisse, which I don't know how likely that is, because if I run a weakness policy Celesteela, that's not a good check. Like, that's not a good, that's just kind of fodder for it, but, I figure this mon would be really nice. Just a Fizz-Def Miltank. Up next, we've got Celesteela, the funny set. It is Choice Banded. This is my first time bringing a Choice Banded Celesteela ever. Heavy Slam, Fly, Stone Edge, Boom. Stone Edge is there pretty much just for Mantine. The flying resist on his team is a Zero Aura, and that doesn't like switching into Choice Banded Celesteela Fly. I really wanted to fit Seed Bomb on there, and I probably should have put that on over Stone Edge. Pretty much just for Palisand, because Palisand's annoying. But I didn't, so that's not worth talking about. This thing just hits really hard. It's max attack, adamant, with a fair chunk of defense investments. And a bit of speed for no speed Mantine and some change, I do believe. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, this thing just rocks him. Like, his Heavy Slam switch-ins, his 2 biggest offensive checks do both resist Steel, but neither of them want to come in. I highly doubt that if Escavalier comes, it's going to want to switch into a Celesteela, because it's pretty bad against a Celesteela, so yeah. Yeah, aside from that, this mon is kind of a wagon against his team. It hits really hard, and nothing really wants to switch into Choice Banded Fly. Up next, we've got Latios. This is a Life Orb Agility set. We're rocking Agility, 3 attacks, Psyshock, Mystical Fire. The only good Psychic Resist is an Escavalier. and I guess also a Celebi, which is why Draco Meteor's there, I guess, and potentially a Silvally of some sort, like Silvally, you know, Steel or Fairy. Draco cooks a lot of the mons. It's just there as a potential nuke button if I need to click that without agilitying up. Mystical Fire is mostly there for the SCAV, but it's also good for special attack drops, obviously. It also hits Celebi a bit harder than Psyshock. Not as hard as Draco, but it doesn't force me to drop my Spatak, so it's a nice middle ground there. If I was considering putting on Roost over Agility, or bringing a Choice Scarf Latios because I needed like revenge killing against the Zero Aura, I decided, it's kind of a dumb idea, who cares? Turned out to, I mean, I did bring a bunch of defensive checks for it, but, you know, whatever. And, yeah, we'll see how that works out during the game. Next we have Galarian Weezing. You cannot see it, but it is level 100 because it's Steam that's just attached to its head is blocking the way. Again, fully physically defensive with a Rocky Helmet. This is designed to switch into and be a good answer to Zero Aura, mostly. Levitate because Kyurem Earth Power is an ouch. Drill Run is also an ouch if he doesn't bring Iron Head for some reason. I don't know. Levitate's just didn't have a reason to run Neutralizing Gas except for, I guess, Blaze on Cinderace and Pressure on Kyurem, but it's alright. Oh wait, Natural Gift on Celebi. I probably should have actually brought Neutralizing Gas, whatever. Not being forced to take Earth Powers from Kyurem is nice. 3 attacks, Pain Split. He doesn't like dealing with these 3 moves, honestly, outside of Palisand, and if I get a Poison on that, that would be swell. This thing just hits really hard across this whole team, honestly. Oh yeah, Mantine too, but again, Poisoning, that's good. Pain Split's there to not die. I need this thing alive throughout the game because that Zero Aura is a fucking bastard. Up next, I think this isn't the last Pokemon. Up next we've got a Sableye, support, again, fully physically defensive, Wisp, Foul Play, Knock Off, Recover. Okay, I thought I made a bold for some reason. Yeah, Priority Wisp is nice. It is a Blaze Cinderace, by the way, in case that wasn't obvious enough by the fact that he picked it round 3. Yeah, no, getting rid of items on something like the Aromatisse, getting rid of like boots or leftovers on Mantine, although I'm not bringing rocks, but you know, it's the thought that counts. Foul Playing down Zero Aura. Foul Play usually breaks Kyurem subs if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure that's the case. Foul Play does a lot to Cinderace, does a lot to Zero Aura, it does a chunk to an SD Escavalier, which I also outspeed. Yeah, it's a good move overall, and if it's an SD Celebi for some reason, then I'm prepared for that. And then Knock Off, like I said, item ridding things of their items. What the fuck? Getting rid of things' items is nice. And finally, Choice Scarf, Reckless, High Jump Kick, Mienshao. It's a Mienshao, it's a wagon. Grass Knot's there because that hits Palisand harder than Knock Off. And I probably should have brought Poison Jab and not Stone Edge. I don't know why I brought Stone Edge for Mantine, obviously, but High Jump Kick does a fuck ton to that anyway. Poison Jab was smarter because it hits Aromatisse as well as Celebi. If I don't want to U-turn out, yeah, I made a mistake bringing Stone Edge, but we'll see how it works out during the game. Speaking of the game... Alright, here we are with the game. So he brought Silvally, Palisand, Cinderace, Zero Aura, Aromatisse, and Celebi. Again, he could have brought pretty much anything on his team. I don't know if I said this during the team builder section, but I felt like he would bring anything, any of his first 9 mons besides Whirlipede, I think, could have shown up. I figured Mantine would potentially show up in that Aromatisse slot because if it's Aromatisse is kind of strapped for move slots. It kind of needs Wish Protect pretty much every time unless it's an offensive set. Even then, Wish on offensive sets is good, but yeah, I figured it would probably be Moonblast, Thunderbolt, and if it was a weakness policy Celesteela, that would be pretty catastrophic for him, I feel like, so but yeah, it definitely walls like 2 of my main offensive threats, being the Latios and the Mienshao, so especially because I didn't bring Poison Jab, which is going to probably play a role during the game, so I'm going to lead with Sableye because I expect the Zero Aura to lead off, and I want to create a prediction war with that thing on turn 1. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and lead with that, as he actually leads with the Cinderace, so I'm just going to go straight for the Foul Play, and
I'll come into Blaze range, which I forgot was 33% and not 25%, as I recover in the face of a Blaze boosted Pyro and nearly lose my Sableye. I really should have just gone straight into Miltank there, but I forgot that Blaze range was 33%. There's no excuse for that. That was just a really stupid play on my part, and now I have 30% off my Sableye for no reason. So pretty dumb error on my end. So Miltank's gonna come out and it's gonna get burned, and then yeah, I kind of deserve that because that was a really stupid play. Celebi's gonna come in as I go for body press because I misclicked. I meant to click toxic, but it doesn't really matter that much. He's gonna psychic as I go for a milk drink just to see what he's gonna do. So I just go into my Celesteela because I figure he doesn't have Leech Seed, but he goes for Giga Drain. Which is pretty nice to see that he doesn't Leech Seed me there. And I'm going to go ahead and use Fly. If he stayed in with the Celebi, it pretty much forces him to into his Cinderace or his Palisand. He goes into his Cinderace here. Or, I mean, not into his Zero Aura or his Palisand, but he actually stays in with his Cinderace and sacks it, which I felt was a pretty weird play because he still had this full health Palisand in the back, which could potentially take that really well. He had a Zero Aura, which could come in and resist the hit. His potential Savali could have come in. So that pretty much shows to me that it's not a Savali type that resists flying. So if I had to have an inkling that it's probably Savali normal, to be honest, because that still checks Latios pretty well. Dark is also on my mind, as well as Savali. I figured it would be Savali Fire, but yeah, Savali Dark makes a lot of sense. Savali Ghost makes a lot of sense. There's a few Savali types that are good. So I'm going to Fly, knock out the Cinderace as he sacks it, which I felt was kind of weird, but it happened. So he's going to bulk up with his Zero Aura as I try to sack off my Miltank. If I was Wakanberry Earthquake, then that was a really risky proposition that he was putting himself in there, but I didn't have Earthquake. I probably should have had Earthquake. Going back and thinking about it, yeah, Mantine was a problem, but so's Zero Aura. So yeah, he Plasma Fist, knocks out my Miltank. That's fine. I'm gonna go into my Sableye, scare this thing out with a Wisp. If I was smart, I would have recovered, but I really couldn't risk losing to this fucking Zero Aura on the spot, so I just go for the burn, and I just switch into... Alright, no, I go for Recover. I go for Recover because I figure his last move isn't Dazzling Gleam. I figured it would probably be T-Wave, Recover, or Toxic, and I figured he would try and U-turn out, taking advantage of a Celesteela double, expecting some sort of move to go ahead and hit Sableye with as he U-turns. So I get that play right. Unfortunately, the Aromatisse does come in for free, and I have to go into either of my resists. I elect to go into Weezing as a result. So I'm going to go ahead and Sludge Bomb, trying to poison the incoming Palisand, because that is the pretty obvious response to Weezing. The obvious initial response, anyway, because nothing else switches into my Weezing's 3 moves besides this, and I was hoping I'd get the poison. I don't. That's kind of unfortunate. I could fish for another one, but I want to keep my Weezing healthy. So I just go into my Celesteela to try and fish for some damage, scout the information of the set. I believe this shows me that it is a Spadef Palisand, because that's only 80 base power, obviously, but it is banded adamant. The Palisand does drop to a crit there, but yeah, the information on Palisand's good because it potentially affects what I click with Latios later on, but I guess it doesn't matter in the end because I crit the Palisand, and that's going to have a huge impact on the game. That thing was a real annoyance for my team. It was definitely standing in the way of high jump kick spam. It was a really good response to Weezing. It was a good response to Latios. So that sucks for him. Like, I can't justify that with anything. Yeah, it's really shitty hacks. So the Zero Aura is going to come in. If I went for Heavy Slam there, that would have been ballsy as hell, and thankfully I didn't because I would have lost my Celesteela. So Weezing's going to come in, chip this thing with the Rocky Helmet as I get off a Pain Split on the incoming Celebi, and I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Sableye, expecting a Psychic as he pulls out a really smart U-turn. So Savali's going to come in. I'm just going to go ahead and bring in my Weezing, expecting a multi-attack or something along those lines as he actually T-Waves. So that's pretty nice because I keep Sableye faster than Aromatisse, so I could potentially knock off its leftovers and make its life a little bit harder against Mienshao and Latios later on. So he's going to Parting Shot out, bring in his Celebi as I go for a Sludge Bomb and potentially put this thing in a position to where it needs to recover. So I'm going to bring in my Celesteela because it can't really hurt me with anything, because I'm assuming, again, that it doesn't have Leech Seed. Like I said, I think the last move on it is like Thunder Wave or something, as he actually goes for a Psychic, which I'm able to eat up, and I'm going to just go ahead and Heavy Slam and actually knock out the Celebi as he goes for 2 Psychics, barely not killing, and I'm going to take out the Celebi. So that's 3 for Celesteela. The Zero Aura is going to come in, and I'm just going to click Heavy Slam. I have no reason to save this. If I go raw into Weezing and he gets up a Bulk Up, a crit Plasma Fist has the... I'm pretty sure can kill me. So I'm just going to go into this, try and get some damage off, sack this off. No reason to keep it because I don't have Defog on my Latios either. As he goes for Bulk Up, which is a smart play if you think about it. Like, he hasn't seen my Latios set. It could potentially have removal on it. One of my last moves on Weezing could be removal. So it's just a smart play on his end. Just Bulk Up. Because there is the potential that I clear off hazards and keep the Celesteela alive to kill the Aromatisse later on, because it's still really hard for him to switch into it. But no, I just go for the Heavy Slam as he does eat that up as well. But keeping this thing low is really nice. Like, the damage is just good. So Celesteela did its job and extra, really. Like, it killed 3 3/4 Mons, so that's pretty good. It's going to knock me out here with the Plasma Fist. I'm going to go ahead and run into my Mienshao. Spoil the fact that I'm Scarfed, but yeah, I really don't have a better answer. So I don't want to risk my Weezing, especially because it's still valuable for the Silvally later on. So I'm just gonna High Jump Kick. It still takes a huge chunk out of the Aromatisse regardless, even though that's like his mandatory switch in. I really didn't want to risk him staying in with Zero Aura playing for a U-turn there and then lose another Pokemon. So I'm gonna bring in Weezing as he goes for a Wish. And I'm going to, I should have Pain Splitted, but I'm going to go for Sludge Bomb and actually get the poison on the Silvally. So that is nice. For me, I'm going to go ahead and Strange Steam instead of Pain Splitting, because obviously I've already revealed Pain Split, and if he goes into Zero Aura on a Pain Split, that I look like a jackass. Strange Steam after a Parting Shot should still... I think it's a roll or something. I mean, I figure he had a bunch of HP investment, and I think he was probably adamant on the Zero Aura, but I don't quite remember the calcs off the top of my head. So I'm going to go ahead and Strange Steam the incoming Aromatisse, and I'm just going to spam Sludge Bomb here. I figure that's my best plan of action. The first Sludge Bomb is fishing it for damage, force it to protect. If he goes into Zero Aura, I get the Sludge Bomb off on that, and that's good. Keeping that as low as possible is very, very just solid for me. And if that happens, that's good. And his Aromatisse would be low. I figure he's going to protect, and I could take advantage of that by going into like Latios or something and scaring him out with a potential trick or something along those lines, but I figure Sludge Bombing is just my best play there. This Aromatisse is the biggest threat to my team left alive because most of my Mons left are weak to Fairy. I go into Sableye, and that looks like a weird play, but I'm pretty sure my train of thought there was sack this, bring in Mienshao, scare him up with Poison Jab, U-turn, collect a kill. That's what I was trying to do, but he actually goes into Silvally. I think he was trying to pivot around Sludge Bomb, if I had to guess. Aromatisse I think was fine staying in there and just 1v1ing the Weezing, to be completely honest with you, but he goes into Silvally. I go into Sableye. I think I was actually trying to reset the stat drops, but now that this is in against the Silvally, I figure it's going to be physical because it doesn't get a Dark special move. I don't think it gets Dark Pulse. Either way, if it's Dark Pulse, it's a lot weaker, and I think I actually take about as much as I take from this multi-attack. So being able to recover this all off, this Sableye is definitely proven to be really clutch. I'm going to recover again as he goes for a T-Wave and misses, which really, really sucks for him, because this is still faster than the Aromatisse here. If he landed that, I think this sequence still would have played out the same, because he's going to Parting Shot, and I'm actually going to predict his Aromatisse to come in here, and I'm going to go for a knockoff. So I get the leftovers off. I would have made the same play if he T-Waved me, but I think he probably would have played different. He probably would have spammed multi-attack or something. But his Silvally was starting to get worn down, so I figured he wouldn't want to stay in too much longer. He'd probably try and get a wish off to it, so I do knock off the leftovers. I go for the Will-O-Wisp just to chip this thing down as much as possible as he goes for a wish, and I go for the Foul Play just in case he wants to try and pass the wish off into a Zero Aura. Foul Play still kills this. Still kills that from where it's at, and I'm going to have to eat a Moonblast as a result, so kind of a risky play for no reason. I could have just gone hard Wheezing, because Wheezing still takes a Plasma Fist after Rocks anyway, if it gets wished, and then I can potentially just Pain Split off the damage I receive. But if I could just kill the Zero Aura without, like, taking damage on Wheezing and still having a full health Sableye, I felt like that overall was a better reward than going into Wheezing and predicting either way. So, yeah, that's my train of thought there. I'm going to go ahead and bring in Wheezing now. Potentially a misplay, but I am just out of range of 2 Moonblasts from this Aromatisse because it's definitely not invested. Otherwise, it would have killed my Sableye. Guaranteed there. So he's going to go into Silvally. As I get full parried, pretty justified. I've gotten quite a bit of luck up to this point. I was going for Pain Split there, but I'm going to go ahead and sack Sableye off to the rocks. That proves to be really useful because if he Parting Shotted there, that would have blocked it and prevented him from... it keeps this thing at 38%, which is potentially good for Latios, meaning that I could, or I'm sorry, not at 38%, 25%, 26-ish percent, below 26 because Showdown rounds up when it shows percentages. Potentially putting it in range of Mystical Fire from Latios, so I don't need to click Draco against it. I can potentially drop Spatak on Aromatisse and not need to click Draco and drop my special attack right away. I could potentially get an agility up later on as well. So here I'm going to go into Mienshao. U-turn is pretty free if he goes into his Aromatisse. That's a problem, but whatever. I'm going to go ahead and just go into my Latios as he sacks off the Silvally. I'm just going to go ahead and just sack my Wheezing off to this Zero Aura at this point. He's going to knock off, which isn't going to kill me, but he does get rid of my helmet, so it doesn't really matter that the knockoff doesn't kill me. Just takes me out with a Plasma Fist. I go into my Mienshao. I figure from his perspective, he hasn't seen my last two moves, so he probably thinks that I'm Poison Jab knockoff in the last 2 slots, but I'm actually Grass Knot Stone Edge. So he doesn't know that I don't have Poison Jab, but I figure he probably thinks that it's a guaranteed bring, so that's why he didn't go to Aromatisse at any point. From there, I think Scarf, Poison Jab into whatever Latios said I am wins the game, because I only brought this in once and then got scared out by a knockoff from the Cinderace, but he doesn't know that I can't kill his Aromatisse without a bunch of chip left. But this is going to be a sequence... Latios versus, I'm going to set this to fast, Latios versus Aromatisse of me trying to keep it low, me wishing I had Roost, because if I had Roost, I'd be able to Mystical Fire this, in this exchange, Roost on his Protects, chip it down, get it to where Moonblast won't kill my Mienshao, and I could potentially just go for 2 Stone Edges, go for 2 high jump kicks, maybe, swallow a Moonblast, you know, put it low enough to where I could kill it with 2 Stone Edges, or a crit from Stone Edge, and swallow stuff, but eventually it's going to come down to a point where he's going to stop Wish Protecting, and I believe it is on this turn, yes, where I Psyshock him and he actually Moonblasts me and kills me. I feel like he could have potentially had a situation where he could just Wish Protect, but he was losing health because Psyshock plus the burn damage that I got on this with that nice knockoff play and then going for the Wisp is actually making him lose more health on every turn, so him killing the Latios there, he figures that my last move is Poison Jab on Mienshao anyway, so there's no way I lose, so he just figures he'll take the kill on the Latios, and then on this turn I go for Stone Edge because I expected him to spam Protect. I was going with the idea that he didn't think I'd have Poison Jab, so he'd expect me to click High Jump Kick to kill him because of the accuracy, so I go for the Stone Edge because... I didn't want to lose to him just spam Protect and getting 2 in a row and me dying to High Jump Kick Recoil. So I decided that just Stone Edging overall, it gives me better odds of winning. I do land the Stone Edge, I do knock out the Aromatisse, and I do take a 1-0 victory week 1. Yeah, so very good game. Killua was a good sport about getting locked really hard. Like, I just got a lot of good luck that game, and it was really unfortunate. Like, the the crit on the Palisand really just like had a souring effect on the game. The Thunder Wave miss on the Sableye really didn't help. Yeah, there's just a bit of hacks in my favor. He did burn my mill tank, but I felt like that was justified on the first 2 turns because I let my Sableye take 90% for no reason. And then he also full parried something. I don't remember what or where. It doesn't. Well, the only thing that got paralyzed was Wheezing, so it was at some point with that. But again, it really didn't give him too much of an advantage, and I got a lot more luck than he did, so I'm not going to complain about it. Yeah, it was a fun game. And week 2, I play Meme, coach of the Team Plasmagna Zones. So, good game to you again, Killua. I appreciate your good sportsmanship and you being flexible about my busyness on Sunday, being relatively easy to schedule with and stuff. So, yeah, week 2 of UGL is going to go up after the game is done. So, thanks for watching. See y'all in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.